Wait.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Welcome to Real Estate After Dark. As you can see, I'm here all by myself. But we're here because the market never sleeps and neither do we. So,
Nope.
although Adam is on a lake, Lake Michigan, right? I think.
Yep, here in Traverse City.
Yep. So he's up there getting some learning so he can better serve his clients. I am holding the fort down, making sure I don't rent out his desk over here so that he has a place to come back to. But
Right.
anyway, so our special guests tonight are some dear and near friends of mine, Donnie and Mama Rosick. So they will not be joining and asking questions tonight. They will be answering your questions. So we are going to dive into what are we doing? DIY and
DIY reno.
yes. So we're going to find out what kind of renovations have the biggest impact. When you go to sell, the biggest return on investment. The easiest rent or the easiest projects to do to get the most bang for your buck, and things like that. So Mila and them are not scared of any kind of renovation project. They have bought many properties that they've done. What you've had to tear down to the studs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've ever lived in places that we.
Yeah. So the sound's a little off.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of dive in. So what are the top DIY projects that add the most value to the home? What would y'all think?
In the bathroom.
Why can we cannot hear you, Donnie, at all?
Nope. I was about to say.
What do you say?
Can you hear?
I hear
You guys
like,
kind of break up every other word.
yeah, it's like every other word. I heard them just perfect a while ago, and then we go live, and you can't understand them.
So what we see the most is that we get is kitchen bathrooms.
Kitchen and bathrooms.
Yep, kitchen and
Yep,
bathroom.
that's definitely. Those are definitely the biggest too.
Yeah, but it's pretty expensive to do like a whole renovation of the kitchen. So what do you suggest someone just on a budget that's maybe looking to put their house on the market? So what could they do to improve the kitchen, but not a full reno?
It's how much good clean can do.
Hey, is your phone? Hold on, Mila, is your phone standing up like where the speaker is on the bottom?
Yeah.
Turn it sideways. Oh,
Is that better?
Let's see if I can hear you now.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Can you hear
Perfect.
me?
I can hear you.
We can hear you, Donnie.
Well, now we'll let
Okay. So I say, decluttering, getting rid of a lot of your home.
But
Yep.
kitchen.
Okay. That's something.
Kitchen cabinet is the big deal. What you can do that's very inexpensive and makes a big difference is cleaning, a new faucet, or just
Sure.
door pulls.
Yeah.
Those are all things that will freshen it up and make it look better. That aren't really expensive.
Yeah. So what I heard is like paint the kitchen cabinets,
But
the
I would say
door pulls.
would be surprised if you get some crud and
And we're still getting intermittent sound from you guys, Donnie.
Yeah, that's weird. There's a comment up there, but I can't see it, Adam. Can you?
Hold on.
like faucets,
Adam needs to go on mute.
you can go to a resale shop and find one that's maybe discontinued, something that's fresh, whatever.
You just run to the restore. I know it's
We've lost Adam.
Yeah, we lost Adam. We can't see him.
Now I think he muted himself because it was
Now
a
we
lot of
lost
background
everyone.
voice. Can you see me? Am I still there?
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello? Yes?
All right, Donnie, you guys muted.
Yeah, I think
Unmute yourself, Donnie.
So, what they were saying is some of the least expensive things you can do is paint the cabinets. Now, that does take some experience. So, you can't just get a gallon of any kind of paint and slap it on the cabinets. You got to get a primer, a good primer, and you got to get, I think satin is what our painter did our cabinets with.
No.
And that's a really good finish. I hear y'all. There you are. Okay, I think you unfroze. Can you hear me now, Mila? Adam?
Okay, for some reason, I guess if I mute, it mutes everybody.
Oh.
Let me go further out here. See if I can get further away from the music.
Unfortunately, we have bad internet.
This is Verizon.
That's okay. I got storms right now, so I don't know. It could be a combination of everything.
Yeah, it could be a combination. Is the sound getting better?
But
I hope
anyway,
the background music's not so much.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now
we
I hear
don't know
Donnie.
if people are seeing us.
Can you hear us, Mila? Mila,
Can you,
can you hear
can
me?
you guys hear us?
Seeing them.
Can you hear us? We can hear you, Donnie.
but anyway, if you're watching us, then some of them the better.
I'm going to tell them they could go ahead and drop off because I think just where they're at, they just don't get a whole lot of service. They're in Florida.
Yeah, I think they're.
They're kind of in the country a little bit.
Gotcha.
So door pulls, things like that. Now those are kind of expensive. They can get pricey, but Amazon has a really good, price.
They just refreshed.
What did she say?
Yeah.
All right.
They may try to jump that one.
Gotcha.
So, I know you and we're always doing things to update the house and to refresh it. And they're not
Yeah,
very old, you know.
yeah.
Uh,
But no, like Damerson are saying, bathrooms and kitchens are the biggest bang. So I
yeah,
think what we were kind of hearing from Donnie and Molly was, painting the cabinets, decluttering quite a bit. Um, I mean, flooring's another good one
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, that tends to get a little pricey, but yeah, if you want to do like something that's going to make a big impact, would be flooring. But now you also want to make sure that if you do flooring, it flows nicely with the other floors. If you do a lot of mix match floors throughout, it gets a little. It starts looking not finished, like they were all afterthoughts. So always be sure to try to stay consistent with flooring. Your wet areas, like your bathrooms, your kitchens, can be tile,
Yeah,
or a different floor if you want a carpet in the living room. But just try to stay consistent.
yeah,
Lighting is another thing that's pretty inexpensive. You can change out the pendant lights over the island or over the table to make it statement
yeah.
that way.
Well, like I'll use my son and daughter-in-law. On their house that they bought 2 years ago. They bought it for, I think it was like 280,000, and they replaced flooring. They painted. They redid the primary bathroom, took all the wallpaper stuff off of the you know other bathroom, their
Yeah,
secondary bathroom or whatever, and repainted it. He replaced all the fixtures, all the doorknobs, all the hinges, and to make it all look updated.
yeah,
And that increased their home. I mean, they sold it just several months ago for a good 300 and something thousand. I mean, so they walked away. They improved their value of it quite a bit.
yeah. Well,
So
and that's how Mala and Donnie do. So they're not scared of any project. So they'll go in and they'll buy something. I mean, he has added rooms on. He has like went and cut windows out, of the brick to put new windows
yeah,
in. They bought a house over by Barfield's Park here in Murfreesboro, and they got a really good deal on it. But after
yeah,
they got in, they realized there was a lot of termite damage, like in as they started ripping out some drywall and stuff. So I mean, they replaced, boards, and they added a bathroom, like a whole bathroom, did all the plumbing and all that. Uh, so they're not scared to do projects like that. Now, I don't recommend doing projects like that if you don't know what you're doing. Buying
yeah.
them
I mean,
are abnormal. No, they can
yeah,
do.
you definitely on the major projects. I think that we have, clients have to realize that they have to take and do um, good. Hire somebody to definitely, make sure, unless you're really good and handy with that stuff.
Yeah,
Um, because, DIY projects are great and they can improve the value of your home. But if you don't mess them up or they don't look,
yeah.
you know, in the best quality, then I don't think it kind of makes it look,
It's
not
the
as great.
opposite effect. Yeah, you get the opposite effect. Somebody comes in and they're like, "Oh my gosh, they're DIYers."
Right.
So they're like, "What other corners have they cut?" If they didn't do the tile right, and they didn't grout it right, or they didn't seal it right, or whatever, what else did they not do right?
Exactly. So
So
they definitely got to be careful on what they're doing.
yeah,
But I mean, small project, the biggest bang for their bucks, I mean, is definitely, you can change out fixtures, you can change out, and those things don't, aren't going to have an adverse effect
yeah.
by changing out, your hardware and your fixtures.
Unless you put something in that's really outdated, like you get a good deal on it somewhere, or it's just a really bold statement, So if you're doing lighting to get your house ready to sell, stay safe and neutral. Don't go bold, with something that a majority of people might not like.
Yeah, the old what is it? The bright shiny gold. I think is the gold that's outdated.
Yeah.
The brassy gold. Yeah, there you go. But the antique gold has been making a comeback.
And
You
that's
know,
another thing though, they say don't go trendy. If you go trendy on something you're gonna sell, trends go out of style really quick. So you gotta
right?
be safe with that. But yeah, you're right, the gold is back. I've added it into a couple places, but in just small amounts. You don't want to go
Yeah, it has to be
yeah,
exactly. It has to be in good taste.
yeah,
So it's definitely a different process there. I
yeah.
know, like my son did on his place. He did the black, fixtures and hardware.
The matte black looks so
Yeah, the
good.
matte black. Yep, those are. I think that's probably some of that and the what is that pewter,
Yeah.
the chrome.
Yeah.
Those tend to be a little bit, more inviting and more of the simplest stuff. I know, like on my old house, we took and changed out for when I did it, I changed out all the hardware, even the hinges on the doors.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah,
those are
that
the
makes
things that
a
we
huge
did.
difference. People don't
Yeah.
think
So
about that, but that makes a huge difference.
yeah. So I mean, that's what I, when I sit and try to, explain to clients and stuff, even when I go into homes, is like, don't just do the doorknobs and
Yeah,
you know fixtures on the counters and stuff. You have to look at the hinges because, especially on older homes, if they have
yeah.
the brassy gold hinges or those type color hinges, then you need
Hmm.
to change those out too.
Yeah,
Because you need to make everything look. And by doing that, you don't have to change the doors out. You just have to change the hinges.
yeah,
And you can find matching hinges that match up quite well.
yeah. Yeah, that way everything flows nicely and it just looks consistent. Consistency is good. But,
Right.
cheap things to do. You could always paint the front door, update your landscaping, fresh mulch. Things like that are inexpensive because, they say that a person makes up their mind within the first, 5 minutes of
Yep.
entering the property, driving up to it and stepping inside if they're put an offer in on that property or not.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it's,
yeah, that's another one is, it's the curb appeal. That's one of
yeah,
the biggest, bangs for the buck. I mean, a lot of folks don't think about it when they're wanting to sell their home is you need to update your curb appeal because,
hmm,
like you say, the first 5 seconds they pull into the yard, if it doesn't look, pristine and look
yeah,
like it's got nice landscaping, they're already getting a bad taste in their mouth.
yeah. And don't spend money to update the landscape, plant flowers and stuff, and not water them. You've got to make sure to keep it all alive while the house is on
Right.
the market. Yeah. And even just a nice trim, a nice edge, around the grass, the sidewalks, things like that goes a long way.
Yep.
It just gives that first impression that, hey, they really care about their house and they take care of it.
Yeah, and putting up some nice mulch, some fresh mulch in there, and you can do that on a budget.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure it's got a nice mulch bed and it's not full of weeds.
There's a place in Murfreesboro. I think it's the one right over here by the office that takes like dead trees and stuff and they make it into mulch and they give it away for free.
Gotcha.
So there are places like that, you can get online and find all kinds of stuff for free.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's something to think about. Question
Yeah.
2 is how can homeowners prioritize DIY projects based on their rate of investment?
On the
So,
rate of investment.
yeah, so start with projects that cost little but have big visual impact. So that's kind of what we're talking about: exterior paint, landscaping, front door.
Right.
Focus on high traffic areas, kitchen and bathroom first. Consider the age and condition of the home. If basics like caulking, grout, or switch plate covers are outdated or damaged, update those before anything else. So yeah, I think in that house Chris and Brianna just bought in Florida. So there are these covers that can go over your switch plate. It's just a cover, but it looks like a brand new switch plate, and you don't even have to take the old one off or anything. It,
Wow.
it's
Okay.
plugged in. So I think you said those were like a dollar something a piece, but it makes it look cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely. I mean, the biggest part is just cleaning up the home to make it look new.
Yeah,
Is a lot of it.
yeah.
So
Are there DIY projects that are easier but still offer significant return? Fill and stick backsplash. I don't know that I agree with that because,
backsplash.
well, a pill and stick backsplash.
Yeah, those make it look kind of cheesy. I
Yeah,
definitely agree on that.
I would not do that. Swapping out outdated light fixtures, we already talked about that. Replacing hardware, cabinet handles, doorknobs, and outlet covers. Pressure wash.
Yeah.
Please pressure wash your house.
Yeah, definitely on
Yeah,
vinyl homes, and even the um, hardy board can pressure wash. And hardy board, if it's a hardy board house, your house repainted. It's a little bit on the costly side, but you don't want the paint to look like it's peeling and dingy looking.
exactly. But, just when somebody pulls up and they see green algae on the side of the house, once
Yep.
again, that is a very easy fix. And if you're not pressure washing your house, they're thinking, what else are they not doing? Are they not
Yeah.
cleaning or servicing the HVAC? Are they not cleaning out the air ducts? So things that can
Yeah.
cause damage to a house over a long period of time, buyers make up their mind, you're already not doing those because you simply couldn't pressure wash the outside of the house, which is the first thing everybody sees.
Yep. And I think a lot of times they don't. A lot of them sometimes they forget about the fences. When they're pressure washing as well.
Yeah,
If you have a fence, you want to make sure, especially a vinyl fence, or
yeah,
even the wood fences, you want to take a pressure wash as well.
yeah. It's less maintenance on the vinyl, but that don't mean it's no maintenance.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
What are some unexpected DIY projects that can boost a home's value?
that can what?
Or garage insulation. Not
Okay.
much, but it can add up to 95% rate of or return on investment and appeals to energy conscious buyers. So you know how sometimes, and in fact, Jacob or Jake, listing out on Cove Street, you know how you go into a house and sometimes like the exterior walls of the garage will not be insulated or drywall.
Right.
So it's going to simply just put some, insulation in there. And that right there is going to appeal to people that are conscious of energy saving.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake asked me on the one, that he's building, should he just leave those exterior walls, with studs or just 2x4s? And I said, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Finish it.
Definitely not. I
Finish.
definitely agree with that. Garages definitely need to be insulated and drywalled.
Yeah, it looks, because whenever I see that, I think cheap, first time, track builder houses,
Yeah.
just somebody
Well, I
that,
mean, if you look back, I mean, there was a lot of older homes they were done that way. They weren't taking the insulated and they didn't drywall them.
Yeah.
And newer construction these days, they're drywalling, they're insulating, and they're painting the walls.
Yeah, but for passing inspections, they don't have to do the exterior walls. So it is okay if they don't, but just saying, if you've got that in your home, that would be a pretty easy fix and will make a big difference. You would get every
Yeah.
bit of that money back.
Yep. I definitely agree.
This is Gordon Bettner shiplap accent walls. That's that's a new thing. So it's kind of trendy. But I feel like that's something that could go for a long period of time if you do shiplap walls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in the condo in Florida, we always do the cocoa wall that brings out the patio in the ocean view. It just draw your eyes that way.
Well, wainscoting's a big thing
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
You know,
Now,
for,
that's kind
for
of
lower
timeless.
half
It's
of the
been
wall.
around a long time.
Yeah, you don't see chair rails anymore. Now it's more wainscoting. Because like in my house, we've got wainscoting throughout. My dining room, in my living room. So there's
So
several areas that have the wainscoting.
explain to the people watching what wainscoting is.
So wainscoting is more or less where you have, it's kind of, you've got different kinds. You've got, the old, looks like big slat, like paneling wall. Lower part of the wall is paneling. Mine is just looks like it's got, strips of wood in a special, in a way
And
that
it is
the whole bottom is painted.
yeah,
They're all same color. And it looks like, it's got a ledge, a little bit of a ledge that's on there.
yeah. Smart home devices, so DIY friendly and increasingly popular with buyers is smart thermostats, doorbells, and lighting. Well, when we stayed at that Airbnb up there in that was in Virginia.
Oh, up there in DC.
Yeah, yeah, we were in DC. I was thinking we
Yeah, it
stayed.
was DC. Um, forget. Yeah, I mean, he had that whole place. I mean, it was all on one panel.
Yeah, and we just thought
Yeah,
that was the coolest crap ever.
yeah. I mean, it was the blinds, it was the lights, all being controlled by a central point.
Yeah. Now he got pretty expensive because Andrew was Googling that stuff after we
Right.
left. And just for one light was I think he said $30-$40.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could get expensive, but it does appeal to a lot of buyers right now because everybody looks for ease now.
Yeah.
Painting outdated tile or laminate countertops with epoxy or refinishing kits. I've seen some people do some really cool stuff too for mica countertops to make it look like granite or marble.
Yeah, and you have to be careful with that.
You
I've
do,
seen some that are. Um, say he said Andrew said it was $76 for one switch.
oh, Andrew said $70 for one switch.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, there's several. And that's the thing with DIY projects. They can go from being pretty reasonable to being really expensive.
yeah.
My feet are getting cold. Get the waves are picking up.
Oh, I was gonna say, are you in the water?
No, my feet. I'm just got my feet hanging off the edge here, and there's some waves. I guess from a boat or something that went by.
Oh,
So
it's gonna be Jeff Glover.
do what?
He got his yacht out there, Jeff.
No, not up here. At least I don't think he does.
Shoot, I'm surprised he didn't park that right there on that dock so everybody could see it. Be like me. Um,
Right.
how do DIY projects compare in ROI, especially done renovations? Well, I mean, if you're paying to have things done professionally, of course, you're going to spend a lot more. So
Yeah.
therefore, you're not going to make as much. I don't think we have to
No,
go
it
all that.
depends on what you do.
Yeah, yeah. I would say if you painted the door and updated your landscaping, if you put about $2,500 into it, you're probably gonna get what 5,000 back on an appraisal for that.
I'd say so. I mean, I,
We don't know exactly, but I'd say it's
yeah,
a
we don't know
pretty
exactly. It's kind of that's a loaded question. I mean, it could be kind of you really don't know because I mean, like we sit and say tell clients all the time, we can have three different appraisers come out and they can give us three different values. So
that's
I mean, but it all goes to how well things look, how well how what quality of work you do. If
yeah,
it looks like cheap quality, then yeah, you're not gonna. It's gonna look kind of rough. The value is not gonna be as much. So I mean, if you do a really good job and you take your time and do things right, then yeah, the value is gonna be. You're gonna get a little bit better value.
hmm yeah. Can DIY projects help sell a home faster, and if so, which one? So neutral paint colors throughout. So don't have multiple colors throughout your house. Go ahead and paint everything the same neutral color.
Yep. You know,
With, with minimum furniture and freshly painted trim or baseboards.
and I think also it's not a necessarily a not too expensive. I mean, you can do your research and you can find flooring. I mean, laminate flooring is not hard to do on a DIY if you do it if you take your time. I mean, I did it my first time on my old house, and it looked really well. Except
Yeah,
for then it got I had a few spots that kind of had some water damage.
yeah,
But I mean, if I always, one of the things that I learned when I did mine was buy a couple of extra boxes to have as backup. Because a lot of times, some of these flooring companies they sell these floors on a bargain, and they are discontinued soon after. So you want to make sure you've got extra backup in case there ends up being some damage. Because there's simple ways to fix those
yeah,
if you have the flooring.
yeah. That's if you buy something that's going to be discontinued or you buy it on sale because it is being discontinued.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so buy a little bit extra.
Extra boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, buy several extra boxes.
We get that question a lot. Do the sellers have any extra flooring left? Are they going to leave the extra flooring?
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
let's
that I
see
mean,
stuff out there where you are.
oh yeah, a lot of people coming out of here onto the deck.
Yeah.
And
Shoot
so,
us around. Give us a view where you're at.
so there's the beach. I don't know if you can really see it.
Oh, wow. You're way
Everybody's up there. Oh yeah.
nice.
So here I'll spin it around.
Aw.
There's the sunset. Now it is 8:30 here, and it's still bright as can be.
Wow. What's the temperature?
Uh, I say it's probably about 75, 80,
Yeah.
but there's no humidity.
Oh, that's nice.
So
We're going to Michigan in August for my niece's wedding. But
JD's tapping out.
huh?
JD's tapping out. He says he's tired.
Oh, who is?
JD,
Oh, you broke up.
he
He's
said I'm
tired.
headed back.
Oh, where'd he go?
He's headed back to our Airbnb.
Oh, okay. He's scared he's gonna
So
get scared again. Are there
so
seasonal DIY projects that are particularly beneficial to a home value. Spring and summer landscaping, deck staining, window cleaning, exterior paint. In the fall,
Definitely.
weather cleaning, weather stripping, planting perennial bulbs. And in the winter, interior painting, updating hardware fixtures, adding insulation. So that's kind
Okay.
of season based.
Well, and that almost goes back to really, truly, just maintaining your home.
Yeah, I would
So,
say when you live in your home, live in it with the mindset that you will someday sell it. So keep on top of things, so that when you
yeah,
do go to sell it, you don't have so many things that you have to do to get it ready, you know?
right. And if you stay on top of things, I think that's where a lot of people, they get into doing, living in the home, and they don't pay attention to maintaining the home.
Yeah, it's very true. Um, how important is quality and craftsmanship of DIY projects affecting home value, which we've already talked about?
Yeah,
It can scare off buyers, lead to inspection issues, and reduce the value.
yeah,
It's better to do a few projects really well than attempt a whole remodel that looks rushed. Think of it as, would I buy this home if I didn't do this project myself?
exactly. I definitely see that. I mean, don't put yourself in a position to try to do something if you can't do it properly.
Yeah. Um, how can homeowners research and plan DIY projects to ensure they're worthwhile investments? The modeling magazines. I think Lowe's and Home Depot still have like books up at the front, right? That you can buy. Yeah,
No,
and YouTube.
yeah, they used to. I think they still have things. I mean, there's a lot of things you can find on YouTube to walk you through how to do things.
Yeah,
Um, but you have to be careful. You have to have confidence in what your skills are.
yeah.
Know when something is too much before you take and go on and do it.
I know my husband is not scared. He'll take on anything.
Yeah,
So you should just watch multiple videos on the same thing on YouTube and see if they have the same outcome. Probably
yeah,
smarter. Do you need to run at them? Did y'all
yeah.
drop?
My battery's getting low. I didn't think about charging my phone when I got back. So yeah, it's getting low.
Well,
Um,
I think since we lost Mala and them, I think we'll have to do that episode again. We may do it when we go down to Florida or something, so that I can be there with them. And
yeah,
because they have a lot of good information to share for sure.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I've heard several. You're always saying they're saying different things of what they're doing.
Yeah,
Um, and how they've been doing quite a bit. I guess they're kind of almost starting up their own handyman service down there.
yep. So they have become not just Mala is now cleaning one of our units, and Donnie. Donnie and Mala. So they've got
Yeah,
a couple people in the condos that have already used them to paint and do some renovations there. And if we get another unit, I think we're going to let them do all of the renovations because I've seen their work firsthand and it's like top notch.
yeah.
But
Which I mean, they're DIY. They're kind of DIY slash
they're still,
professional because they're building their skills.
yeah, they don't have a contractor license that I know of. Don't quote me on that because they are very prepared and everything.
Yeah,
But they should. Like, they
Yeah.
do better than a lot of licensed contractors. So I think they just stay away from like HVAC, you know. They probably do some electrical, but won't do it like for somebody they don't know, if that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they
Well,
literally can do anything.
yeah. But as far as like, those that are watching, I mean, if they just start off small with, I mean, changing out hardware, changing out faucets and fixtures and stuff like that, those are the simplest things to start off with and can make some of the biggest impacts.
Paint
Painting,
the front door, yeah.
like you said, anybody can paint if they take their time on the inside of the house.
Oh, yeah.
And those make some of the biggest impacts, especially doing neutral colors.
Yeah. But do it right. Like, wipe the
Right.
walls down, dust them down, take everything off the walls, putty it, fill it in.
Exactly.
Before you paint.
I know I've got some, a couple that I spoke to, they've been in their home since 89. I think it was 89, 90 or something like that. And, they asked me to come talk to them because they're not looking to take and sell their home until like February, because she teaches and everything else. And she knows that, she's going to be looking to move to Colorado here soon. And, things I told her are the same, some of the stuff that we talked about. And one of the biggest things is the flooring, because they haven't changed the carpet out since they've been there.
Yeah.
So those are going to be things that, really make the difference. And they're prepared to pay those expenses. I mean, in carpet, like I told them, I said, you don't have to put the biggest, the fanciest carpet in there. There's contractor grade carpet that you can put in there that looks just as nice and helps the home sell even, sell better than having the original carpet.
Yeah.
So,
Well, just a few tips. If you're looking to sell, it gives you a good direction to go without putting
exactly.
a lot of money into it. And, we're always here if y'all want to reach out with questions. If you want to get in contact with Donnie or Mala, they're back and forth between here and Florida. They've still got things here. So, but yeah, they're building the house themselves, from ground up in Florida, and not afraid to do anything of, any of it.
So, but yeah, like you said, we're always here. I mean, I'm here in Traverse City, and I'm still working.
Well, we're still here. Yeah.
We're still here. You've been in Florida. You've been on your road trip. I mean, we do what we got to for our clients, and that's our biggest point.
Yeah.
We're always here for our clients.
So how can they get a hold of you, Adam?
They can call me at 615-713-8600.
Or you can get me at 615-956-5250. Or you can reach us both at realestateafterdark.gmail.com. So realestateafterdark.kw@gmail.com.
Exactly.
All right, Adam. Will you be safe? I'm going to end this show early because that's about all we've got for you, because we are not the professionals.
No, we are not.
We call the professionals in to get it done, but
Let's see what comments we got here.
Yeah.
Donnie said, "We're back. Sorry, really bad cell coverage here." You responded to him.
Yeah. So they're really bummed that the service wasn't good enough.
Yeah, Donnie and Miley, we'll figure that out, and we'll try to get stuff worked out and try to get another one where we can talk a little better.
We may have them join live, like in the middle of a project or something.
Yeah, there we go.
So we need to make something interesting, that's for sure. Can you end the live or no, Adam?
No, you'll have to.
Okay. All right. Well, you be careful out there. Don't fall off of the dock. I know you.
I'll try not to, but I mean, I don't think I'll drown because it's probably only about 2 feet deep over here where I'm at.
How much can we pay you to jump in?
No, I don't feel like jumping in. It's cold. And then, I don't want to. I don't want to scare everybody because you know
Have to come out of the clothes.
I
I get
wouldn't
it.
have to jump in. I wouldn't. All I'd have to do is take my shoes off and jump in because it's really not that deep. I'm literally telling you. I don't know if you can see.
Oh no, no, not really.
The water is crystal clear here. So,
Nice. I can't wait to see it. All right.
so
Well, I hope you learned something.
always,
Yeah. Get you some good
always,
refrigerators.
exactly. Definitely looking at it.
Huh?
All right,
All right.
definitely.
Be safe. And we will see everybody next week. Hopefully everything will be normal, back to normal.
All righty. Well, y'all
All right.
take care and be safe, and we'll see y'all later on.
Yes. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
guys. See you next time.